Imagine this. You're 30 years old, making a six-figure salary at a top hedge fund in Manhattan, and you walk away from all of it to sell books out of a garage. That's what I did in 1994. Most people called it insane. I called it the regret minimization framework. Today, I'm going to take you inside the mind of Jeff Bezos, the decisions, the failures, the obsessions, and the one question he asked before every single move. Stay with me. This might change how you think about your own choices. In 1994, I left a cushy hedge fund job to start Amazon. The decision didn't come from financial analysis. It came from a single mental model I call the regret minimization framework. I imagine myself at age 80 looking back. Would I regret not having tried to build an internet company? The answer was a thunderous yes. The daily noise, salary, prestige, stability, all of it dissolves when you zoom out far enough. I still apply this framework to every major decision I make, and I'll explain exactly how it works. I named Amazon's headquarters Building Day 1. That is not a slogan, it's a warning. Day 2 is stasis. Day 2 is irrelevance. Day 2 is an excruciating, painful decline. What does Day 1 look like? Obsession over customers, resistance to proxy metrics, high-velocity decision-making, and embracing external trends before they become obvious. When a company grows large, it gets infected by process. Meetings multiply, committees form, decisions slow to a crawl. I ask one question relentlessly inside Amazon. Are we still moving like a day one startup? When the answer becomes no, the end has already begun. Amazon's competitive advantage is not our technology. It's not our capital. It's not our logistics network. It's customer obsession. Seek what customers want and invent ways to deliver it. That is Amazon's 24/7 operating system. When you study competitors, you play defense. When you study customers, you invent the future. Prime, one-day delivery, Kindle, Alexa. None of them started because a customer filled out a survey. They started because we asked, what would make the customer's life so much better that they can't imagine going back? My mantra has never changed. The customer is beautifully, wonderfully dissatisfied. In 2006, Amazon launched AWS, a service built from our own internal IT infrastructure exposed to the outside world. The reaction from Wall Street was brutal. You're a retailer. Why are you selling compute? Today, AWS generates more than half of Amazon's total operating profit. Netflix runs on it. Airbnb runs on it. The CIA runs classified workloads on it. Almost everything you touch on the internet flows through AWS at some point. Here's the lesson. The biggest innovations often come from solving your own problems. We built AWS because we needed it. The world turned out to need it even more. Amazon has failed spectacularly and publicly many times. The Fire Phone was a $170 million disaster. Amazon auctions never dented eBay. Amazon Destinations, a hotel booking service, was quietly killed. Do I regret any of them? Not one. Here's my rule. If the size of your failures is shrinking, the size of your ambition is shrinking too. You cannot make bold bets without a culture that celebrates failure as the tuition for innovation. An organization that punishes failure stops taking risks. And that, ceasing to take risks, is the only true failure I recognize. For most of its history, Amazon was mocked as a company with massive revenue, but no profit. The critics screamed, "Where's the profit?" The answer was simple. I reinvested every dollar. Into warehouses, into technology, into people. The quarterly earnings crowd never understood us, and I never needed them to. In my very first shareholder letter in 1997, and every letter since, I wrote the same sentence. We will make decisions based on the long term. The shareholders who stayed with us understood. The ones who didn't left. Long-term thinking is not a strategy. It's an endurance sport against short-term criticism. Blue Origin has been my quiet obsession since the year 2000. I've poured over $1 billion annually from my Amazon wealth into this rocket company. The goal is not a joyride. It's to return humanity to the moon. And then, this is the part that sounds insane, but I mean it literally, move all heavy industry off Earth. People love to compare Blue Origin with SpaceX. I don't care about that race. Space is infinite. My conviction is this: the only long-term solution to Earth's environmental crisis is for humanity to become a spacefaring civilization. My biggest bet is not on this planet. It's beyond it. In July 2021, I handed the keys to Andy Jassy and stepped down as Amazon CEO. Some people see a founder leaving as weakness or surrender. I see it as the ultimate long-term play. Amazon cannot thrive for the next 50 years if it depends on one person. Institutions must outlast individuals. So now I focus on Blue Origin, the Washington Post, and the Bezos Earth Fund, to which I've committed $10 billion. Building a company and solving the world's hardest problems are not separate missions. They are chapters in the same book, and I intend to keep writing. That was the story of Jeff Bezos, from a garage in Seattle to reshaping how the world shops, computes, and even dreams about space. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it is this: think long-term, obsess over your customers, and never fear failure at a scale that matches your ambition. If this video gave you a new perspective, drop a comment. I read every one of them. And if you want more deep dives into the minds of tech's greatest builders, subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.